This might be one of the most hilarious builds I have tested to this day. Today's build, submitted by Gerolden, allows you to spam a ridiculous amount of super buffed gatling guns, pumping any wannabe enemy full of so much lead they bury themselves from the weight alone. But how difficult is it to pull this off in a real game? How do you counter this? Let's find out. As just about everyone was probably able to discern from the intro, we will be playing as Murica today, with our teammate, the man, the myth, Gerolden himself, backing us up as Japan. The map for today isn't picked at random because we are playing on the Arabian Peninsula, one of the most oil-rich regions in the entire world. And we do need that oil, for national security of course. And to immediately prove how free and democratic we truly are, we sent the capitalism card, giving us a steady trickle of coin. After we start to age up with the federal state of Virginia, we quickly send a vast majority of our settlers to gather gold. And once we've accrued enough, sent the Dutch immigrants card, shipping a bank to our colony and allowing us to gather gold faster. Once we've paid for that shipment, we reassign our settlers to chop down trees, and you'll see why in just a bit. Before long, we reach age 2, giving us this lovely military wagon, which happens to arrive at the same time as our bank. We will build up the bank immediately, but save the other wagon for now, in order to build an artillery foundry as fast as possible. The age up with Virginia, as with all federal states for American factions, has added a few new cards to our deck. Importantly, the Virginia Plan, which grants us 2 shipments, itself costing only 1. Or in other words, it gives us another shipment, at the cost of some time. All of these jazzy things, the bank, the military wagon, the Virginia Plan, they're all great, but only if we live long enough for the economy to actually snowball. That's where our teammate comes in. We've coordinated a strategy where he will be putting a ton of early pressure on our foes. He ages up at an impressive 3 minutes 10 and immediately builds up a mass of Ashigaru and Daimyos, taking out the enemy hero. His deck is specifically built for tons of early aggression to buy us time to build up and mass our artillery. In fact, that's not the only way our teammate is helping this strategy. He specifically added the Otsutsu Mortars card, which buffs our artillery's damage by 10%, which adds up pretty fast with a gatling gun. Long story short, we've transformed our teammate into a walking, talking insurance policy. Thanks to this coordinated support, we can put those 2 shipments to good use and quickly send the Hamiltonian Economics and Virginia General Assembly cards. Both of these shipments are very powerful for the booming we'll be doing here. The Hamiltonian Economics, for one, not only makes all of our market upgrades completely free, it even refunds all the resources we have invested in them thus far. The Virginia General Assembly gives us our capital, which can usually be built in Age 5, or in Age 3 for America, in Age 2. And it gives us one of its upgrades for free. This is where the build really starts to snowball. Once the wagon arrives, we immediately build up that state capital and receive the statehood improvement completely for free. We can now age up to 3 with the state of New Hampshire, and thanks to that statehood, it researches very quickly. With that upgrade going, we can now also send the Springfield Armory card from the home city, sending us an arsenal wagon and making all of its upgrades free. At this point, we're no longer paying for improvements, they're all state funded. As we get all those upgrades and just sit around, our teammate is hard at work marching soldiers all across the map and taking out this enemy trading post. Inspired by said enemy and with our refunded resources, we also build up our own trading post, which will prove very useful for getting all the shipments we need today. It isn't long before we reach Age 3, and it is at this point that we can make use of one of the most OP aspects of the US in my opinion. We can send one of our factories before the industrial age. It costs us some resources, which we totally have, but that's nothing compared to what the factory will yield for us in the future. And now we get to actually use it. With our economy booming and our teammate already hard at work spreading democracy to these backwards hooligans, it's time for us to get ready to join the fun. The military wagon we saved up immediately builds up an artillery foundry, and we send a fort as well, which we build at the front lines, where some skirmishes are already taking place. With the fort steadily underway, we're safe to age up again, making use of Vermont for the advancement. Our factory has not been idle in the meantime, and has produced enough wood for our general to establish another fort. And once he's finished that, we also build a second trading post, upgrading it as well. Now in age 4, we send our second factory, and build it next to the first. This is where we sent the second most important shipment of this entire build, the coffee mill guns. A glorious card that allows our gatling guns to fire indefinitely without reloading. The wet dream of any freedom-loving, burger-munching, root beer-drinking, butter-sucking American such as myself, minus the burger-eating for more or less obvious reasons. We can subsequently send the Vermont Copper shipment, another crucial card that makes us gather gold faster, and makes all of our estate upgrades completely free. We quickly send an estate wagon from our capital, build the bad boy up, and get those free upgrades, which even have the decency to research instantly. With our very capitalist freedom economy, powered by free, state-funded upgrades, thriving, it isn't long at all before we can age up to the Imperial Age. The final age. We'll do so with the federal state of Illinois. We upgrade the trade route one more time, and it is now time for, by far, the most important card in this entire match. Nay, this entire game. Nay, this entire universe. In theory, at least. With many dramatic flourishes, which you won't be able to see, we sent the glorious, the magnificent, the unmatched whale oil card. This absolute unit of a card makes our fishing boats gather from whales 30% faster. Being in the middle of the desert does significantly reduce the likelihood of encountering whales, but the card has oil in the name, so clearly it's vital to national security, and therefore absolutely top tier in my book. Now ready and prepared for anything, we can get some final upgrades and shipments to fund the production of an unholy amount of guns. We upgrade our Gatling guns to their Imperial level. We get the New Mexico immigration upgrade, which lets us support 100 population without houses, and also secretly makes all of our units train 10% faster, by the way. We sent the textile mill card to improve our gold gathering speed, and finally, we get the Mountain State Gold Rush, which improves our gold gathering speed greatly. Now it's time to get started on the mass production of guns. Thanks to multiple forts and a large military presence from our ally, we can safely spam out Gatling gun after Gatling gun, slowly but surely amassing a gun-porcupine. Thanks to our factories, our bank, and us being the only player with access to Age 5 upgrades, we have a better economy than just about anyone, and we can get away with just 50 settlers. Or in other words, we have 150 available population space for guns. This just goes to show the massive advantages of coordinating a strategy with our teammate. We train Gatling guns, we send another gold gathering card, we train some more Gatling guns. Before long, we reach our population limit with an absolutely glorious 33 maxed out and carded Gatling guns. And with that, it's time to see what this actually does. What happens next is nothing more than an entirely reasonable and measured display of American brilliance. In a futile and frankly pathetic attempt to stop the spreading of freedom and democracy, Mexico has amassed an absurd quantity of powerful and heavy artillery. I could find no suitable words to describe the carnage, so just see for yourself. With the best of the Mexican army neatly shredded into tiny little pieces, our artillery advances on the enemy fort, and it holds its own quite amicably. It lasts all of 5 seconds before the sheer weight of the lead we pumped into it takes it down. The Gatling guns advance further, allied Ashigaru taking all of the punishment so that our gun-porcupine may live to commit another war crime. We take down Mexican barracks, 50 or so innocent young men, a half dozen guns specifically built to counter us, and another Mexican barracks. This clear demonstration is enough and then some to convince our enemies to resign, and we've done it. We've won. Ensured the spread of freedom and democracy and unloaded several imperial tons of lead into our foes. Now, I am a hopeless nerd, so I actually counted. In those 5 seconds it took to raise the Mexican fort, our 30 gatling guns unloaded about 1,500 projectiles. At around 30 grams per projectile, that's a good 45 kilograms of... of course, that's a good 99.21 pounds of pure lead. As you might imagine, this was one of the most fun games I've done on this channel, both to record and to edit. I had an absolute blast. To answer the questions asked in the beginning, this is super easy to pull off. Get yourself a teammate like the legend Geralden to watch your back, and it's an absolute cakewalk. And how to counter this? Honestly, I'm not sure. I've seen this counter heavy cavalry, including lancers and cuirassiers. It tears apart culverins like paper. I think the only way to consistently take this out is by mono-comping one of those two and just throwing them at the guns. With some good micro, I'm sure you could also counter it at a good ratio with culverins, keeping a safe distance and such. But Gatling guns can deal with both of those options rather well, and shred just about everything else. Since our teammate was tanking for our Gatling guns and targeting counters with his cavalry archers, we were absolutely swimming easy. As I said, this awesome build was a viewer submission. If you've got a build I should try out, please let me know in the comments down below or in the Discord server. We might even get to play it together. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it in the future, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.